All right, so look, we've got a demand function here and a supply function, and we've got certain factors that affect quantity demanded and quantity supplied. All right, so we're going to see how we can understand such functions. All right, but whenever we're given questions, we can easily solve them. All right, so the first thing is here, we'll look at the demand function. Okay, or let me write down what each of these variables are. So P is the price of potatoes. So this is a demand function for potatoes. PW is the price of wheat. Y equals the income. Okay. So if we look at our demand function here, which is QD, QD represents quantity demanded. Okay, this is our dependent variable. Okay. This negative 1,450, it tells us the quantity demanded if the price of potatoes is zero, the price of wheat is zero, and the income is zero. This would be the amount of potatoes demanded, this first number here. Okay. Now, our dependent variable, which is quantity demanded, is dependent on these factors. First, it's dependent on price of potatoes. Okay, the quantity demanded is dependent on price. We can see here there is a negative sign. So this tells us that there is a negative relationship. A negative relationship, it means these variables move in opposite directions. All right. So negative, just remember negative, opposite directions. Positive, same direction. So here, if price of potatoes goes up, since there's a negative relationship with quantity demanded will go down. Okay, if price of potatoes goes up, quantity demanded for the potatoes is going to go down. And if the price of the potatoes goes down, the quantity demanded for the potatoes is going to go up. The second fact that quantity demanded is dependent on is the price of wheat here. All right, we have a positive sign here telling us if the price of wheat goes up, the quantity of demanded of potatoes is going to also go up. If the price of wheat goes down, the quantity demanded for potatoes is going to go up. Okay, that's a positive relationship. Okay, and in this case, okay, because we're doing managerial economics, and as I said, with managerial economics, a lot of principles from microeconomics are going to come in. So, wheat here in this case is a substitute good. Okay, is a substitute good. Right? If that's why here, if the price of wheat had to go down, okay, the quantity demanded for potatoes is going to go down. Okay, because since the price of wheat is cheaper, people are going to buy more wheat. So therefore, there are no quantity demanded for potatoes is going to go down. Okay, but if the price of wheat has to go up, people are going to substitute the wheat with potatoes. That's why the quantity demanded for the potatoes is going to go up. Okay, colleagues? Wheat is a substitute good, right? If its price goes up, quantity demanded for potatoes goes up because of this positive sign here, meaning wheat has become expensive, potatoes are cheaper, let's buy potatoes. Okay. If the price of wheat goes down, the quantity demanded for potatoes is also going to go down. Why? Because wheat is now cheaper, so we substitute it with potatoes. Are we okay with that? That's what this positive sign is implementing. Okay. The direction, it's showing how the price of wheat and quantity demanded for potatoes, how they move. Also, the quantity demanded for the potatoes is dependent on income. Okay. We have a positive sign here, so it means they're moving on in the same direction. Meaning if income goes up, quantity demanded for potatoes will go up. We've got more money, so we can buy more potatoes. If the income goes down, the quantity demanded for potatoes also go down. Less money, so we can buy less potatoes. All right. So that's how we interpret a multivariable demand function. Okay. You have your dependent variable, in this case, quantity demanded. And then you have your independent variables. So price of potatoes, price of wheat, and income, these are independent variables. Okay. They are the ones that are not that affect quantity demanded of potatoes. Quantity demanded of potatoes doesn't affect these variables. These variables are the ones that affect quantity demanded. Any questions? Okay, we have our supply function. Okay, PL is just the wage rate, price of labor, so wage. R is rainfall in inches or in millimeters. So in our supply function, our dependent variable is the quantity supplied of potatoes. That's the dependent variable. And what is it dependent on? It's dependent on the price of potatoes. Okay. We have a positive sign here. So if the price of potatoes goes up, quantity supplied of potatoes is going to go up. The price of potatoes goes down, quantity supplied of potatoes also go down. Forgot to mention this negative 100 represents the quantity of potatoes that will be supplied if the price is zero, price of potatoes. The price of wheat is also zero, if the wage rate is zero, and if rainfall is zero. Then the quantity supplied is negative 100, meaning basically nothing will be supplied. Yes, so quantity supply is dependent on the price of wheat. It's also dependent on the price of potatoes, P. It's also dependent on the price of wheat. Okay, we've got the negative sign here. So if the price of wheat goes up, quantity supplied of potatoes is going to go down because people are going to, sellers are going to say, oh, we can make more money selling wheat, so let's stop selling potatoes and let's sell wheat. All right, so that's why quantity supplied of potatoes will go down because now people are switching to sell wheat. If the price of wheat goes down, it means quantity supplied of the potatoes will go up because people are saying potatoes are more profitable. So let us sell potatoes. Okay. Then again, we said quantity supplied of potatoes is dependent on the wage rate. As we can see here, there's a negative relationship here. If the wage rate increases, it's expensive to hire more workers or even to keep your workers. So you might lay off workers, and if you lay off workers, supply will be suffer. So if wage rates rise, the quantity supplied of potatoes is going to go down. Why? Because it's now expensive to have workers to harvest and plant the potatoes. So with less workers, you plant less potatoes and harvest less potatoes, theoretically. Right? If the wage rate goes down, it means you can hire more workers. Hire more workers, theoretically, you can plant more potatoes, you can harvest more potatoes. Right? So quantity supplied will go up. And finally, quantity supplied is dependent on rainfall. As we can see here, there's a positive relationship. The more it rains, the more potatoes that will grow, the more potatoes that will be supplied. The less rain, the less potatoes that will grow, and the less potatoes that are going to be supplied. So the important thing here is whenever you see a multivariable equation like this, always remember, especially in managerial economics, there's a relationship between the variables. There's always going to be a dependent variable and there's going to be independent variables. So always remember the variable before the equal sign, okay, like we have QD and QS, it comes before the equal sign. The variable before the equal sign is the dependent variable. Then the variables after the equal signs are the independent variables. They are the ones that have an effect and an impact on the dependent variable.